We gotta take one game at a time and play good hockey. If you look at the standings, yes, that's the way it should go. But St. Thomas has played pretty good hockey this last month. They beat St. Cloud and played tough with Minnesota last weekend, so nothing to overlook.
It'd be nice if you could take 2 games at a time this time.
Absolutely. Yes.
With where you sit, how tight it is between you and St. Cloud in the standings for that home ice spot, with how the pairwise look right now, has this team entered playoff mode?
Entered.
That
was back when we went to Quinnipiac. Yeah. The whole half.
They've been in this whole second half. You've been in must-win playoff mode.
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel your team's handled that pressure and such?
Well, I'm excited that it's not March. That's the beauty of it. When we approach it in that way and you have some failures, I think that's beautiful because you can learn from it and you still have time to get better at it, right? If we enter playoff mode in February or March and make mistakes, then your season, ends. So I like where our mentality has been. I think we've learned a lot through it, and I think we keep getting better and better in big moments.
Does it help keep weekends like that? As John said, you go into these and you want to take 6 points every weekend, but I think there's a lot of pressure that this is a weekend you should take 6 points. Does it, when you're in tight situations like that, does that help emphasize the message a little bit of this needs to be a 6-point weekend?
I would never say that to the team.
Okay.
That this needs to be a 6-point weekend. I don't need to add pressure to what they're already experiencing. So if they don't know that, I'd be shocked. But at the same time, for players, they just need to play. They can't be thinking about all of the things that we like to talk about and think about and project, because then you let games go, you let periods go, you let shifts go, and good teams can bite you. So for our players, I hope that they're just focused on today's practice, getting better, hopefully dealing with some adversity within practice to make it better when we face it in games. But they really need to be day to day.
Your goaltenders, how do you like how they continue to roll each and every week here? It seems like Haley especially is on a hot streak right now.
Yeah, it's great. It's been great, since we started talking about these guys probably back in November, October, and I think we've settled into a really nice rotation. Hopefully for our goalies, they get to focus on that one game and be as good as they can for our team in that one game. Right now, I think that's a nice mental and physical break for them. And I think, as I've said all along, they give us a chance to win, and sometimes they do even more than that. They help steal games for us too. So we go as they go right now, and they're critical to our success.
Nice bounce back for Ev after a tough game against Ohio State this past weekend.
Yeah, that was huge. I was happy to get her back in there and see her have success. There were some good opportunities on Saturday. She had to make some big stops and handle that 6-on-5 again. So good for her. She's a young goalie. These things are going to happen throughout the course of your career, and it's really what we talk about all the time. Haley knows this. What's next? You're going to make mistakes. What do you do next? What do you do with your opportunity? So we always just want to see improvement from play to play, game to game, week to week.
I was watching your press conferences back over the weekend.
Wow. Good for you.
Do my research a little bit. And I noticed you were saying, you don't want us to hype up Danny Bergen too much here. Kelly, by the way, went and hyped her up in the game note. She doesn't seem like a player we need to pump the brakes on or anything. I thought she was pretty humble in deferring to, the line mates she's playing with, even though it's been different line mates she's playing. Is that just part of her personality? Is that something you saw even back when she was in the U18s,
Yes.
kind of more of a humble player?
Bergs is pretty humble, from Chisago Lakes, blue-collar kid, does the work. Certainly awesome to see the attention and the limelight on her. She's deserving of it, but I don't think she's going to be one to talk about herself a whole lot.
So we're fine hyping her up.
You can hype her up, sure. Yeah, done. She didn't listen.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
Mario, you mentioned the pressure that St. Thomas has been able to put on some of their opponents these past couple weeks, but you also talked about the pressure that you guys continue to put on other teams while maintaining receiving that pressure. So how do you instill that into practice, create those pressure-filled
That's the fun part of coaching. It's really, what you guys see is the weekend. What we do is our everyday. So it's from drill to drill, small area game to small area game, how we can push the pace at certain times. You can change the rules of games to put a little pressure on the beginning or the end. I think what's great about our program, and always has been, is we compete. We compete hard. It's not always perfect execution at practice, but we go hard. So if you're going to take a day off, it's going to be problematic because you're going to stand out because the majority of the players here are trying to get better. And that's really what lifts our program to the levels that we get to. So the pressure is in practice because you want to impress your teammates. You don't want to let your teammates down, coaches as well. But I think it's really more the accountability that our players feel for each other that makes us good and helps us deal with pressure, adversity, and competing and having fun. That's got to be at the heart of all of this. I think when there's pressure on you, it means you're playing for something, right? There's something there that you've worked towards, that you've gotten close to. If there's no pressure, then you're probably not playing for anything, really. So in that way, we try to build that in practice so we're ready for it on the weekends. Yep.
For you guys, how did you see your team level up this weekend, finally, getting some more offensive things rolling, that you hope that goes ahead and continues that trend to the St. Thomas season?
Yeah, I think, credit to the players in the locker room and our leaders right after the loss at Wisconsin. I think our group came together and, they're committed and they know what they need to do to make sure that we get over the hump in those situations. Not going to say it's going to be perfect and we're always going to do what we want, but I think they're committed to doing it the right way. So I think when we got out there against Mankato's a good physical team. They got their looks on us for sure. I thought they played better on Saturday. But really, I thought Friday night we played a complete game. Goaltending was good when we needed it. We took advantage of opportunities when we needed it. We scored some beautiful goals, but also not tactically what you draw up. So I think that's what hockey is about at this time of the year. There are going to be some pretty ones. There are going to be a lot of ugly ones too. And staying structured when we needed to. And then Saturday, it was, I thought, a tighter game. I thought Mankato pushed a little bit harder at us. And I thought we handled it pretty well and came up big in the end. And walking away with 6 points in this league at this time of year is really tough to do.
I got to ask you, because we talked about it on Friday, you went back to watch these goals. What was your...
Yeah, that was pretty sick. Yeah, I had no idea that happened because, again, I was talking to somebody, but that was great and opened up a conversation with Danny about softball. Matt, you would love the story. You should talk to Danny Bergen and Jenna Lowry about softball.
And we've had lacrosse episodes recently.
Yep.
On the show, so.
Those two have played a lot of sports together, and there's a little magic between the two of them. So.
Softball in the area?
What's that? Oh, who
Like,
knows?
softball
Who
in this
knows?
area, like your lacrosse players?
Maybe. We'll have to look into that.
Historically, this series has belonged to the Bulldogs. You preached about how you prepare all the time. Is it simply just that, or are there other factors involved with looking at this series?
I think we just want to get better every day. I know it's boring and not that exciting to write about, but we're trying to stay in the moment. I think staying in the present moment for our players is important. They know what's on the line. They know how they want to play. I think it's an exciting series for us. I think, last year when we went down there, it was very physical. There was a lot of stuff going on. So we have to stay level-headed, keep our emotions in check, and just stay grounded and do the things that we do, and things will be good for us. But, yeah, it's kind of a boring message at this point in the season.
You said that Mankato got a lot of looks. I didn't see them getting many
Yeah.
looks.
Saturday they did.
Yeah, but from long range, it didn't get...
You didn't think it was that hard? Okay.
I'm wondering if you think St. Thomas
Yep.
has more offensive firepower and might come at you harder offensively down there.
Good question. I think Mankato has some older players that when they have the puck on their stick. Maybe they've been in those spots before, so they know maybe where to shoot it, how to bury it. I think what we're seeing with St. Thomas is a young, talented team that's getting better and better as the season goes on. And a lot of those kids are good players. You know, they came from Andover, has a whole bunch of them at St. Thomas, and they did great things as high school players, and now they're getting the experience and they're getting better. So I think they're a little younger, but sometimes the youth is good too, because they don't feel the pressure quite as much as maybe the older kids. So a roundabout answer to saying they're all capable, just different, less experience, but less pressure maybe on them at St. Thomas.
Over the years,
Yeah.
there's these teams at the bottom that you don't want to get complacent with,
Right.
but that's the only threat you have. They're not going to beat you otherwise. This team, that's what I wonder if they'll come at you a little bit more and might have a little more potential to put offensive pressure on.
Potentially. We'll have to see. Yeah. I think they're playing well. So I think we have to be ready for anything.
Have you seen your team grow since your last series with the Tommies?
Oof. That was a long time ago. We've grown in a lot of ways, you know. I think you grow through hard, you grow through the good. You know we can play and beat anybody in the country. So that belief is high. I think we know that we have to pay attention to little moments in games because they become big moments. And I think we're learning how to deal with the mental side of the game that is so important when you're playing, you know, playoff type hockey.
I got one for you. Yeah, we got one of them here.
Yeah, she's sitting over there.
We talk about your goalies all the time, but
Yeah.
we're talking about these kids who are statistically, she's super high in the country, Eva's right there, but she's a sophomore. Shelly, you don't have a junior or senior goaltender right now. Talk about kind of, you know, she's your oldest, but she's, you know, she's very mature. Just talk about what your goaltenders bring outside of maybe the actual ages they are.
Yeah.
And she's played 21 games, I think, total.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about a senior, and yet she plays like that inside and out for you.
Right. Yeah, I don't think of Haley as a sophomore. You know, it doesn't come to my mind very much. She just presents herself as a mature young woman, always has. And I think what separates Haley from other goalies is her work ethic. I've said this to you guys before, go watch her in the weight room, because all I hear about is how she's one of the best on the team in the weight room, and that stuff matters at this level, at this stage of the game, this part of the season, you know, staying strong, staying healthy, and I think that gives her confidence when she is out there that she can handle whatever is going to come at her. And I think our goalies do a great job of competing at practice, making it hard on our shooters, battling and making us better as a team, therefore making themselves better. I think, you know, those numbers too, something's coming out later today, I believe. You think about our goalies and the shooters that they play against. You know, we're playing against a Wisconsin that averages over 5 goals a game. I don't know the other numbers per se, but our goalies are playing against some really, really good teams and good goal scorers, kids that know how to score goals in this league. And we're putting up those numbers. Pretty impressive.
Good?
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, you're
That
up.
was a lot.
Good, Bill?
Chipotle or Qdoba?
I'd say Qdoba.
Sarah, Humphrey, you're the fit one. Is there a better health option?
I find they taste more fresh, to be honest.
More fresh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Hey, Coach was talking about it. She doesn't think you was a sophomore. I think we talked about it on the podcast. You in that veteran role. How has that role adapted for you? How have you adapted to that role? How is it pick on this year, being kind of that veteran presence, even though you're only a sophomore? What's it been like being in that role all year?
I think it's definitely pushed me outside of my comfort zone and helped me grow more as a person. I think coming in as a freshman with older goalies last year really helped me to adjust to like everything. They gave me a lot of advice and help for this situation. So I think just being able to be that mentor for Ev and Anna coming in was huge.
I can't remember off the top of my head the last time you had like a rough outing at this point this season, but I'm wondering what you learned from like Emma. Even the best goalies can have an off night, or maybe you're playing your best, but you still get shelled. As a goalie, how do you bounce back from a game like that? Or does maybe a game like that kind of help focus you sometimes?
I think it definitely helps to make sure that you're always preparing, you're not taking things for granted, you're always working for what you're wanting to get to. And for me, it's just about staying in the present, being where my feet are, being able to focus on the next shot coming in and not dwelling on things that happened in the past. That's huge, especially mentally for me.
So short memory is good for
Yeah, mind of a goldfish, as Coach would say.
If you could have one game over again that you played this year, what would it be?
St. Cloud, I would say. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? You know, this series coming up, you guys have already faced the Tommies once before, and now going to their barn. How do you guys prepare for that situation to try to come away with that sweep?
I think being in their barn, they're definitely going to come at us a lot harder. Just being able to weather that and be able to play a full 60 minutes will be huge for us.
What's it been like for you to have the people play in front of you? What has that support been like in this season?
I think it just allows me to feel confident knowing that maybe if I do let in a squeaker goal or something like that, I'll have a team that can back me up. And they're also going to make it hard for them to get to those pucks to make like rebounds or put rebounds away. Like we have good defenders and they'll clear the pucks for me when things get chaotic in our zone.
Talk about that goalie room. I know you guys have so much talent, but a lot of people aren't aware of how close you really are. You know, it's hard to balance. You're so competitive. Everybody wants to play, and you generally root each other on off the ice so much.
I think having a friendship with your goalie is huge just because we are in the same situation. There's not many people that really understand what we're going through. And being a friend doesn't mean like it's taking away from my own individual skill. So being able to support her, knowing that she, like if she brings her best, that's just going to make me want to bring my best. So making sure she can be at her best is huge for me. And she does the same for me as well. So it's awesome.
And today being National Girls and Women's Sports Day, what's it like to be led by someone like Maura and seeing the way that this sport has grown, specifically this year on the professional level?
Well, she's developed an awesome program here, giving a lot of opportunity for girls to come play and showcase themselves. The opportunity is only getting bigger now, which is awesome to see, and it's definitely motivating for girls like us to continue playing and have something to work towards, which girls before didn't really have. So they've created that for us, which is amazing.
Have you found a big reward here so far this year, whether it be the growth of women's hockey in general or just you personally? Has there been an aha moment yet?
I think even just this year, like knowing like I had to take on a bigger role. I am not one that's very outgoing. Like I kind of keep to myself, but having to really reach out to people and stuff like that is helping me grow as a person, and that's something I really am proud of myself for.
What's been kind of like your preparation, knowing that you're splitting time with Ev? One night it might be you, the next night you might be, taking a seat. So how have you kind of prepared for that, knowing, it might not be your night one night and then it is the next night?
I think just being ready for every game, because you never know what happens in games. So the games I'm going in for, like I know I got to take a little bit extra to make sure I'm dialed in, just be ready to go for when the opportunity arises.
That's great, Neely.
Thanks.
Good. Thanks, Neely.